But after Diane Parkinson, she left the show, one of the other models, and she and Bob did have a sexual relationship when I first got there in 1990, and for about a year. And then he really didn't end the relationship admirably, but she was really kind of woman scorned, and she finally left. And when she did, she thought about it when she saw that newer, younger model come aboard, Gina Lee Nolan, and she was kind of thinking twice if she had made the right decision to leave or not. And
Mm-hmm.
so she said, I'm going to fix him. It was sexual harassment. And she did. She put it out there. Bob Barker, headline, sexual harassment, Barker, sexual, da, da, da. It was really kind of ugly at first. And of course, Bob got ahead of the game and said, I did not, have sexual, was not sexual harassment with her. And he said, I'm not paying this woman one red penny, one red cent. But
Wow.
it tainted his personality. You see something
Yeah.
out there on the headlines, front page, and then maybe a couple months down the line after things have been resolved, it's in the middle of the page in the vindication. A lot of people don't know that, and they still hold that persona over his head, and that really
Right.
tarnished his reputation, and it really left a bad effect on his whole personality. It changed a lot around the whole chemistry of the show and with the models as how he talked to us,
Mhm.
how we were treated, and a lot of different things.
Yeah, and that's interesting because it seems like there's a lot of actors or even actresses that kind of play a certain role, or maybe TV personas that play a certain good image role, but behind closed doors, it's other things happening. You brought up Bob Barker, and I thought about instantly all the kind of recent scandals that are happening today in today's time that still continue. But I think in this aspect, it didn't seem like that he didn't end up in jail. Did he end up in jail?
No, hell no. He, he
Right,
he
right.
wasn't guilty. I mean, of anything. People make false accusations all the time, and it's unfortunate, especially for women, especially sexual harassment or rape
Right.
or different things of that nature. And some of it's true, some of it's not. So that's
Yeah.
like and you're innocent till proven guilty, and some people just really are trying to get retribution or get back at somebody for something they did. So they'll do that.
Yeah.
And it's a shame that some of this has happened. And some things that, are maybe back in my day and time, I'm
Yeah.
flirting with people and happy and everything. Not that anybody has the right to ever touch anybody's body out of the norm. And so it just gets to the point where a compliment becomes problematic because
That's right.
women feel that man is doing or saying something that they're taking by, girl, you sure look good in that red dress. They be like, well, he got real fresh with me at work and tell me I look good. What are you looking at? Bitch, you wore the red dress. You do look good. For
Right.
us back in the day, it was like, oh, honey, he said, I look good in this red dress. But nowadays, it's, these people and younger folks and
Yeah, I
the
was, yeah.
attitude and the social media and all that bull crap is, hey, take the compliment if it's a compliment. But if somebody's just really staring you down, looking at your ass all the time, then that can
Hmm.
cause a few little
That's something
problems if you
different.
feel
That's right.
uncomfortable about it, right? So it's a thin
And I
line.
and I think that's why like I wanted the insight because you know, when you look at I'm gonna kind of compare two entities and for my own disclaimer, definitely not overlooking actual victims, definitely not overlooking things that a particular person I'm about to bring up has been accused of as well as charged with. But I look at the different eras. I look at Hugh Hefner. He had an era of, I would think he was prominent within the 70s, the 80s. It was, women coming in and out. And that was somewhat celebrated by American culture, by white American culture. He was celebrated.
Right.
And,
Playboy Club,
and then I,
Playboy Channel. Heck yeah.
yeah, and especially what they would do at the mansion and different stories. And he never ended up in prison for those accusations. And then I heard the argument of, well, look at Sean Diddy Combs. We did see him do something on camera that I personally think really kind of ended his whole defense because we all saw it. At the same time, some of his behavior looked like it kind of aligned with the things and the sex parties and the accusations that Hugh Hefner had. Just from your insight or your vantage point, do you think race plays into part of where those men landed in terms of like history and yeah, the culture today?
Well, it's the sign of the times, evidently. And of course,
Hmm.
Hugh Hefner being a very prominent figure and person back in those days. And when he started out, he had the Playboy magazine. And
Hmm.
that was something that men wanted to see and like to look at women and all the, just nude, not sexual acts, but the nude women and looking. Young men liked it. Of course, they said, I'm just reading it for the article, right? Okay. But it was a
Hmm.
very popular magazine. So from that, though he became a very well-known person, entrepreneur, and highly respected for having this kind of insight to be able to put this
Hmm.
kind of magazine out. And thereafter, of course, he opened his Playboy clubs to cater to men in particular. But I don't think nothing really going on then. They had started in Chicago, and they had a
Hmm.
few scattered around different places. And the bunnies, it was just a new way. Obviously, women were exploited, but we never said
Hmm.
that then. They chose to do that and wear those little scantily clad outfits and the bunny ears. And it was like a real big thing to be a Playboy bunny. So, I mean, there are
Hmm.
women who like to, show themselves, their bodies, to get paid for. It's a lot of fun and
Hmm.
what have you. But the things that he was doing
Mm.
at that, I went to the Playboy Mansion a few times. I must say, I saw a few things. I won't say what,
Okay.
in the grotto.
Yeah, I
And
heard about the grotto.
yeah, and he did what he did. A lot was going on there, but it was kept there because it was like a kind of society unknown to others outside of it that were not able to get in there. But what goes on in the Playboy Mansion stays at the Playboy Mansion.
Right.
And then, of course, you have Diddy, who is back in a whole nother era anyway, and things have changed so very much. And yes, he is a young black man doing pretty much almost the same thing, if not worse than what Hugh Hefner was doing. I don't know if Hefner was really just drugging the young girls, or I
Hmm.
can't equate the different, make a similarity to how his played out and what Diddy was doing, but
Right.
the social media now, it catches you doing things that never would have
It
happened at the
amplifies a
Playboy
lot. Yeah.
mansion. No, that amplifies
What
it.
I, what I think, just to kind of close out that particular conversation, is you make me now think. I wonder if Diddy was in a era of like the past, maybe it wouldn't have been as chaotic for him, because it was kind of like some of that was. I was, again, I'm not of the era. It just seems some of that was part of the culture then. It was very open. We were consensually taking drugs. We were consensually
Right.
having a good time. That's what I've always heard about
Yeah,
that particular
that's
era.
true. That is it. The error, absolutely the error, and of course the person. And now things are just so different. I mean, you just have to be more cautious, careful how you do things, how you approach people. Like Bill Cosby.
Oh boy.
Uh, so that went that went down with him and how he was doing drugging. That is just atrocious to get to that point and do that. And that's Diddy, obviously, allegedly was doing that to young ladies and just having them there, sex slaves. And, it just gets out of hand and gets ugly. If it's consensual and they're there and they know why they're there, fine. But, hold somebody prisoner and hostage and just take advantage of a woman like that is absolutely atrocious.
This One Moment is presented by Hypers Club. Watch the full interview right now at hypersclub.com by becoming a member.